Yeah. So another information is one of them is the migration that we have. Migrations. Okay, I think I'm not here. So the we comparing all the kind of sea land and sea trade, we get this kind of information that there is a Dholavira here, and of course the current location of Dwaraka here. So these are all active seaports, and there is Samudra here. So these green lines are actually trade networks. So there are trade networks like whatever trade goods comes in this ocean, which is a wealth generator. The trade that will pass through these trade networks. One trade line is along the Sindhu River. So along the Sindhu River it goes. Another trade network is along the Saraswati River. So like this it goes. Like even here there is another channel like this. And here on the Ganga you have Brabhu and Panis Uru Kaksha I mentioned, if you remember. So in the Uru Kaksha is a trade post actually. So goods from Ganga, and after this to the east of Ganga typically is a forest with a lot of elephants and other forest resources. So elephant tusk and other wood and honey and other forest resources coming from here. And of course, this is the Kurukshetra, the Varaprithvya region, the capital of Sudas and others are there. Then there is again here another location of Panis is mentioned in the Ṛgveda. And this red spot is the Pastyavadi or Takshashila. So these are all some of the points, hotspots or important trade settlements in the trade network. And here also we have seen the Pani, the Sarama Pani on the Rasa River, where that description about Pani is stolen the cow, and then Sarama is coming and knotting it down, and then Indra and Brahaspati coming and taking it. That kind of story is in the Rasa River, Sarama Pani narrative. And you can see along Sama, the trade network is going towards China. And it also mentioned about Devayana path or Uttara. It is an ancient Uttarapatha. Of course, Devayana got another meaning. Devayana means some other meaning as well. Pitrayana and Devayana. But Devayana is also a real world path. It is an older name of Uttarapatha. So the Uttarapatha is there. Then there's a Gandharva path. So Gandharva path is basically the path along the Kabul River, which is going through Afghanistan, leading to other Central Asian cultures. So this entire thing, so these paths are mentioned in the Ṛgveda, Devayana path and the Gandharva path. So I have just identified it geographically as this path, etc. And another trans-Himalayan trade route, which is where the Panis are mentioned. Panis are also mentioned along Saraswati here. This is also, Brabhu is also a Pani, so there is Pani here. Pani is basically trader. So trader settlements in Ganga, another trader settlement in Saraswati, another trader settlement on Sindhu River in the trans-Himalayan trade route, which is also connecting the northern tributary of Sindhu Sama is connecting it with Chinese civilization. And the Gandharva path, which is like a continuation of the Uttarapatha from Pastyavadi or Takshashila, today's Takshila. It goes to Afghanistan along the Kabul River and goes. So this is how the Ṛgvedic civilization also spread. There was a spread along this path in the northwestern direction, another spread along this path in the northern direction to China and Central Asia, etc. And this is the Uttarapatha. So this is how Vedic civilization spread into the east. Slowly, forest became Janapadas. Like in the Mahabharata, we see this region as Panchala Janapada, and then Kosala, and then Anga Janapada. Like that, it goes to the eastern direction. So the Vedic civilization spreading in the eastern direction. Of course, these trade networks, land trade network terminates in the Samudra, that is the Southern Ocean. And Dholavira and these cities, everything become progressed because of that. And even the Dwaraka proper is best identified as Dholavira. Even this is also candidate location. Current name Dwarka is here, but Dholavira is a candidate location for the proper Dwaraka of Krishna. So that is all about the Samudra. Very important aspect that we have. And I think I need to show one more graph, which is a migration. The theory of migration from the southern sea into the Kurukshetra Varaprithvi region. Just give me a moment, I'll take it. So if you look here, there is this colors, the yellow color I have mentioned. So this is the channel through which the migrations were progressing. Like from the sea, there was a migration along Saraswati, and there was another migration along. Okay, this Saraswati have two channels here because the river there was. See, I think I might have mentioned in the Saraswati talk. There is one channel that is like this, another channel slightly eastward channel which is flowing like this. This is an older channel. All these channels became road. Later period it became road because it dried up, so that has become normal roads, etc. So people were able to travel from here to Kurukshetra or Varaprithvi like this or like this. So these ancient migrations occurred from the sea, and it reached this Saraswati. This all happened even earlier than early Rigveda. And these people who migrated from ocean or the sea toward northwards into the Haryana, Kurukshetra or Varaprithvi region, they are the ancient Manu people. And of course, the first branch, oldest branch of the Manu people is the Ikshwaku branch, because that is why the Ikshwaku is considered as the eldest son of Manu. And Manu is basically representing a large generation of people. It's not maybe like what I'm saying. There could be a single individual called Manu, but Manu also represents an entire multiple generations of people who migrated from the ocean to along Saraswati and Sindhu to northwards and got settled in the in the Varaprithvi or Kurukshetra region. So that is why the Manu can be dated in 4000 BC or even in 8000 BC, because it's a large number of generations. We just representing as Manu. And then Manu who settled in the Manusha, that is on the Kurukshetra, he got like after settlement, he got a daughter Ila, and then son Ikshwaku, and like that, like Ikshwaku generation. The same people, but once Ikshwaku is branched off, then you can even look at from a point of view that is this Ikshwakus who got migrated. Basically, the Manu people migrated, and that got diversified into Ikshwakus and Ailas. Ailas are nothing but descendants of Ila. So Manu has got Manu people diverged into two branches, Ailas and Ikshwakus. Ailas basically are descendants of Ila, the daughter, and Ikshwakus are the descendants of the son of Manu, that is Ikshwa. So like that. So I have shown it in this particular graph, and then of course the Ikshwakus migrated later into like this into the eastern Sarayu, the Itihasic Gomadi and Sarayu here, and also to the western side. There is a Gomati here, and then subsequently there is a Sarayu here. So that is what also you can get this migration information also you get by analyzing the Samudra, the information about Samudra in the Rigveda. So that is another important significance of the analysis of Samudra in Rigveda. So that is in total, these are the kind of things that we can understand from the chapter on the Samudra. And of course, let me take here. Apart from the migration that happened earlier than the early Rigveda, or that is the Manu and the many series of generations, all whom can be considered as the Manu people. And the other information is the trade network information, which we already discussed, and some of the important trade settlements like this Dholavira, and then the Panis trade settlements very mentioned at different parts of the Rigveda, like one in Ganga, one in Saraswati, another in the like this is found in 10th Mandala period. Prabhu is found in the early Rigvedic period, if I remember, in the 6th Mandala itself. And then this is Panis on the Saraswati also mentioned in the early Rigveda sixth Mila. There is a mention about a Narmara, another trader. Indra is rescuing this trader on the Urjayanti river. That is a Saraswati river itself, Urjayanti. Or that Urjayanti river, that is a tributary, or Saraswati. Both, it applies to both. So Urjayanti river, there is this Narmara, and Indra is mentioned as rescuing this trader because during a flood in Urjayanti river. And we mentioned that time that Indra is as from the Western point of view, Indra has nothing to do with trade. But in the Ṛgveda, Indra is mentioned as rescuing a trader. That means here Indra has everything to do with trade, and he is a god who offer traders as well. Traders. So then it connects. Indra is connected. Then automatically it connects with the Harappan Sindhu Saraswati civilization. Rather than the destroyer of Saraswati Sindhu cities, he can even be considered as a patron god of the Harappan cities and traders and trade networks. So these are all different ways in which these are all some of the important information which removes a lot of misconceptions about the understanding of Ṛgveda and also the Ṛgvedic civilization. A lot of misconceptions are eliminated because of this, and the kind of wrong paradigm of Aryan invasion theory, because of which we have created a lot of confusion in the Ṛgvedic studies, as well as its connection with the Harappan or Indus Valley civilization. That is completely eliminated because of this particular detailed study of Samudra and understanding of a lot of information of the kind of tight connection of the Ṛgvedic civilization with the Harappan civilization, both geographically and chronologically, is completely clear by understanding its rivers as well as the Samudra, the sea. And of course, I repeat again, the Samudra information increases from early Ṛgveda to middle Ṛgveda, late Ṛgveda. And early Ṛgvedic information is very important because apart from mentioning Samudra as the drainage point of rivers like Saraswati and Sindhu, the early Ṛgvedic people also express a memory or a recollection of their earlier existence in the ocean. And this is what helping us to posit the theory about the early Ṛgvedic people, or have their remote ancestors have originated from the ocean. And the ocean is nothing but the Gujarat ocean, but these are not captured. Their life there in the ocean before early Ṛgveda doesn't get captured into the Ṛgveda, because, of course, this happened much earlier than the Ṛgveda composition period. But it can be ascertained, or that kind of inference you get from the early Ṛgvedic reference about Samudra. So what had happened is, then in the middle Ṛgveda and late Ṛgveda, they have more or less come back to their original ancestral ocean with more civilizational sophistication, and they started engaging in sea trade. That is why we may get the mention about a Navam boat and thousand horn ships, etc. All these things are mentioned in the Ṛgveda, especially in the late Ṛgvedic period, and then mention about the other side of the ocean, which means that they have already capable of navigating through the ocean and go to the other side. And those kind of understanding also you get. And then you also understand about they are increasing the knowledge about Samudra, especially in the 10th Mandala, etc. They mention about more than one sea, like Eastern Ocean, Western Ocean, the other ocean, Abara Samudra, etc. So other ocean means Abara Samudra, etc. Those kind of terminologies are emerging, which means their knowledge about oceans increases. So we have, for lack of more supporting data, we have identified the 4 oceans mentioned in the Ṛgveda to the local sea here inside in this Gujarat area. But I have in the book I have mentioned in the last paragraph about that these particular oceans because we may be underestimating how much they traveled. So these other oceans like Avara Samudra or Purva Samudra, all these eastern, western, etc., can be like a little more farther away, but we need more evidence to like confirm that. So it can be Arabian, that oceans close to the Arabia or Africa, or there is a possibility of them having complete trade network covering the but it's a very far-fetched, but I don't really push it. But it's a possibility that the entire peninsular India is in a trade network, and they went to the other side of the eastern side of India, and so the Eastern Sea, which is the Bay of Bengal. But all these things, we don't have any real data to support it. So that is why it is safer to assume these different samudras as the different pockets, ocean pockets in the Gujarat area. So the sea number one is the Dholavira, the sea surrounding Dholavira, that is the Ran of Kutch. Currently it is a marshland, but earlier it was a sea. And then the Gulf of Kutch, that is a little to the south of the mouth of Gujarat, this one. Then the Gulf of Cambay on the Surat, Bhagat Rao, this Baraj, that kind of southern Gujarat area. Then this main Arabian Sea. So like that, 4 seas we have mentioned, because we don't have much evidence to say that, at least not from the Ṛgveda, we don't have much evidence to say that they are very far away, like the Bay of Bengal or etc. But such kind of evidence can come from archaeology or marine archaeology, that kind of studies. And then you can even compare it with, so maybe I leave it to other researchers. They can actually try to connect with, of course, solid evidence. They can try to connect that, okay, these other seas mentioned in the Ṛgveda are indeed far away oceans, like the African, the sea near Africa or Arabia or Bengal. So, but I don't say it because I don't have much evidence to, but at least within the text, there are no such evidences. It's only mentioned 4 seas. And it is, as a geographer, I have recognized it as the seas nearby the Gujarat, that is safer when they don't have much data. Because that much travel any ship can do. In the earlier 3000, that Ṛgvedic period, any ship can actually travel that much amount of ocean. And whether the ship has really traveled farther away, that information we are not getting from Ṛgveda. So I cannot make that claim without that much amount of information. So with that, I conclude the session. And I give a very realistic picture about the Samudra in the Ṛgveda without exaggeration, and what the data, Ṛgvedic data, provides us. So just concluding it, and then we look for questions.